All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I'm your host, Saheem, the Dream, and I'm here with my two co-hosts.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
J Mac Mean, what's going on?
Your boy,
And I'm here
Mr.
with a special
EBE.
guest.
Your boy, Mr. EBE, aka Shard B. Wrestling
Mr.
fan
Shard.
all around, just one of those guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Shad B, for joining us on this edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. So, Shad B, he's going to join us on this edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. He is our special guest today. We are going to go down the agenda. First, we have news and rumors. Then we're going to go over to the Smackdown review, and if we have a little bit more time, we're going to get into a little bit more conversation about other things. So, first on the agenda, Jay, give us some news and rumors.
Gotcha. So the first news and rumor comes from, shockingly, AEW. So backstage, here's some backstage news on Kenny Omega's booking in AEW. As noted, the direction of Kenny Omega's character in AEW has been criticized in the past by fans, even by you, Si, for his lack of in the promotion. Kenny Omega says, because I decided to take a different path in my career, because I'm not doing these long, drawn out 45-minute to an hour matches in single competition. It doesn't mean that I'm not the same guy, Omega says. This isn't about tooting my own horn, but it's like now I'm helping run a company that has live television every week, every Wednesday. I'm part of a very successful tag team with Heyman Page, a group that has a lot of chemistry. A guy that I have a lot of chemistry with, and I'm existing with in the division guys. We're amongst the top tag teams on the planet, and showing it takes more than just having a good long single match to be the best in the world.
Okay, so interesting enough. I think that's a real good, noble thing to do with Kenny Omega. How he's trying to build up the division. I think that's a good thing that he's trying to build up AEW talent from the ground up, rather than just going in as like a top tier performer, because he knows that they're lacking a lot of talent on the roster. Not talent on the roster, but lacking a lot of star power. So they're just, I see what they're doing. They're trying to take the star power of Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, the notable indie darlings, and put them in position whereas they can, build up certain divisions or certain parts to kind of have people pay more attention to those divisions where they would normally not pay attention to. Because most likely when people tune into AEW, they're going to be looking at the singles competitors division. So I think it's a noble thing. I think it's a pretty good thing. But he should eventually go to, I don't think he should linger that long into the tag team division with Hangman Page for so long. I think they should eventually, maybe within a year or so, start transitioning him into the singles competitors part.
Right, because you definitely stated that you would definitely prefer to see him or Cody as AEW champion outside of John Moxley.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, to piggyback on what you were saying, Saeem, I feel that it's that criticism is more so coming from the new fans to AEW, where they want to see that star from Kenny. But if you look at pretty much all of the elite, everyone who's a part of helping start AEW, they're all taking a back seat as far as pushing themselves to the top of the promotion. What is it? Cody can't even challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship anymore.
Okay.
I believe that that's part of his situation. He can't challenge for the top title at all anymore.
So he lost the match to John Moxley, in which after he lost that match, he couldn't challenge after losing that match or something like that.
I think it was to Jericho when they had the initial championship startup.
Okay.
It was like from then, it's like every time they bring up the heavyweight championship and Cody, they continuously say that he can't challenge for that title. So it's just like, is I
Okay.
guess that's part of the major stipulation of how they want to run it. So I think that's what actually pushed him to be the inaugural TNT champion
Hmm.
was that. And they initially started pushing all of the elite because I believe in the initial conversations about
Yeah.
AEW, there was a lot of speculation that the Young Bucks were going to be the initial tag champs, and
Right.
they just went a complete they went the complete opposite route, and I
Okay.
think it's actually leading to a better product because
Okay.
when you look at it from the talent standpoint, you have them pushing newer guys that you haven't necessarily seen or haven't been so much formally introduced to. So it gives you that option to sit and actually say, well, okay, they're giving us fresh talent, a
Yeah.
rotation that we can actually
Yeah.
see. Like, I mean, it's not so much WWE ish where you continuously see the same guys every week, every show, or in AEW you have some guys that compete on the main show,
Hmm.
then you have the
Yeah.
guys that compete on the dark, and then they
Yeah.
rotate. So and then I also like that they do the ranking system. That not so much, but to a certain degree, I like the ranking system because it actually gives you, it gives you that sense of something to look forward to as far as their brand with
Okay.
with each guy and each output.
Okay. All right. So I have a question for you. So my question for you is this: do you think that AEW right now has the star power it needs in order to further the promotion to a WWE status?
I'd say they need at least maybe like one or two more pieces
Okay.
because like when you look at their overall product, they said from the gate that they were gonna highlight their tag team division. They've done
Hmm.
that.
Okay.
They've
Yeah, they
also
have
said that they're
definitely.
gonna highlight their women's division. They do
Hmm.
that. Their women
Okay.
are always featured just as much as their tag teams. Their tag team is pretty much the whole show to me. And
Hmm.
I mean, they give their singles guys their run, and they give them all their pushes, and
Yeah.
everybody gets their storylines across. But when you look at AEW right now, they're
Hmm.
more so tag team. They're more so a tag based promotion, which
Hmm.
which gives a big highlight because they have at least about maybe 12 tag teams, just like WWE has about
That's
12 tag
good.
teams, but
That's a good number.
WWE
Yeah.
completely underutilizes their tag teams.
Completely.
Agree.
They
Absolutely.
have WWE has about like 12 on their roster altogether when you look at all of them, even the mixed match tag teams, and
Yeah.
you only see maybe 4 or 5 in rotation.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
that to
Absolutely.
me is why I say right now I could see AEW actually making that big push as far as their star power, because even when they bring in a new talent, it may be an old talent from WWE, but the way they utilize them
Yeah.
is magnanimous compared to WWE guys.
Right. 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 All right. So we're gonna go a little bit further on to uh or get a little bit. We're gonna go a little bit more deeper into AEW's branding. So I'm gonna save some more of my comments or what I want to
Okay.
say for later on because I definitely have something I definitely want to talk about, and I think that's going to definitely take us into a deeper conversation. So that's going to be later on the news and rumors. Next on the agenda for news and rumors, Jay.
So the next rumor we have are rumored WWE SummerSlam matches. Um, the first one maybe it can still be on the line, but with Matt Riddle actually getting his first title shot against AJ Styles this Friday coming up on SmackDown. Well, that may end up in the disqualification or something like that in order for this match to happen at SummerSlam. But it says Matt Riddle could get his first big main roster title shot at the upcoming WWE SummerSlam pay-per-view, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter. Riddle defeated WWE Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles in a non-title match when making his Blue Brand debut last month, setting up for a future title shot. Riddle versus Baron Corbin has been pushed on TV as of late, with the idea of Riddle defeating Corbin to get a title shot from AJ Styles at SummerSlam. Another rumor for SummerSlam is Andrade and Angel Garza versus Raw Tag Team Champions Street Profits. It's possible the Tag Team Champions, The New Day, are going to defend their titles against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam as well. That title match will take place on tonight's edition of Friday Night SmackDown, which we know ended in disqualification. But it may lead to a rematch at SummerSlam with some sort of stipulation. Another top match being rumored for SummerSlam is The Fiend versus WWE Universal Champion Braun Strowman. As we also noted, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre is also being considered for the biggest show of the summer.
Okay, so what do you guys think about this whole SummerSlam card? You think it's going to be good, or?
You got it, Jay.
I guess that they with the talent that they have that hasn't left already, or that's willing to work, I should say. I guess they're doing the best they can. I mean, because obviously we don't know, what capacity Seth Rollins is going to have at the event. We don't know, what women are going to be competing. Hopefully, my Shayna Baszler will actually have a match against Asuka finally. And we may hopefully see the return.
Wait, didn't they have a match in NXT though?
Yeah. No. I don't know. They never had a match in NXT because by the time Shayna got there, Asuka had already left.
Right. Asuka left when Ember came in. Ember.
Right. So Shayna ended up coming and taking the belt from Ember, but yeah. So hopefully we'll see that match. Hopefully Bianca Belair, somebody can look out and find her somewhere outside of Twitter. And she may have a match. But like I said, I mean, from the basis of those matches, I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, you know what? Let me say this real quick. My thing is, it's so weird because when you say that they're doing the best that they can, I immediately mentally go into the mind frame of how WWE is like just trying to stretch out their good talent across the board with different matches. When the reality is that they're not struggling for good talent, and they're not struggling. They're not in a place where they have to struggle to put together great matches. They have excellent performers who can choreograph excellent matches and excellent performances. Like we were talking about Ricochet, right? You know what? I found that clip where Velveteen Dream challenges Ricochet.
He jumps over the rope.
He does the front flip, and he walks to the mic and he says, "Let me." He said, "Let me see you do something like that." He's like, "Yeah, let me see you try," whatever. And Velveteen Dream is like looking shocked, but it's so crazy because when I read the article, it said that Triple H actually told Ricochet to do that because they needed like a great spot in the show to kind of like bring viewers in, and they said that was actually the most viewed clip of that year, and I believe that was 2017, 2018, something like that.
You're referring to when Ricochet flipped off the the podium, like off of the ramp, the entrance ramp?
No, he was in the ring.
He was in a ring.
On the top rope and walked up to the entrance ramp to confront Velveteen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I had it in reverse. I was thinking in reverse, but yeah, he came from the ring to Velveteen. Okay. Yeah. I remember that one.
So when he did that, it was considered the most viewed clip of that year, and for wrestling. And the thing about it is that like we were talking about, like when you said a few episodes ago, if people like Ricochet are being unleashed properly in some of these matches, like we would have excellent matches and they won't have to feel like they have to stretch out their talent or be in this place of feeling like, like they have to, because they said that they're in the need of heels. One of the things is they're in the need of heels. So that's the reason why they have Randy Orton challenging Drew McIntyre. And I'm going to be honest with you. In my personal opinion, Drew McIntyre going up against Randy Orton is an excellent match. It's a match that I definitely want to see. But my fear about this whole matchup is that I feel, not a fear, but I feel, okay, my fear is for Drew McIntyre, but I feel that Randy Orton is going to outshine Drew McIntyre in this feud.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Possibly, because Randy's at a different place right now.
Yeah, Randy's on a whole nother level right now.
Yeah, Randy is.
Yeah, Randy is in legend killer mode, and to be honest, it's about time they actually put him back there.
Mm-hmm.
But to get back to the topic at hand, the SummerSlam matches, and what Tahim was saying about the talent, it's not even so much that they're overstretching guys. They're not using way too much talent.
Right.
Like you literally they've sat on Eric Young for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Eric Young is an amazing talent. Like this guy has been killing. Like I don't understand how you bring in AJ Styles, you bring in Bobby Roode, you bring in James Storm for a while, you bring in Austin Aries, you bring in all of these TNA guys, Samoa Joe, you bring in all of these guys who were main TNA staples, and they all got a big push. They all got some love. Eric Young, straight thrown in the trash.
Right after NXT, right?
My boy came out Insanity. They had the shortest push ever.
Yeah,
and
that was a great
and now
too.
he's pretty much on his way back to he's on his way back to TNA.
Yeah,
right back home.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean at least they're giving another TNA guy a little bit of run right now. But how long is that gonna run? You got the Forgotten Sons. Forgotten Sons, and they have Gunner. They're done too. See?
Yeah, because Jackson Riker. Yeah, Jackson Ryder or Jackson Riker. Yeah, he messed that up for them.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Well, yeah, he they're all head cases, but
yeah, but you know what? But to add to what you're saying, and I totally agree. You had AJ, you had the main staples of Impact Wrestling: AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, James Storm. You got Samoa Joe. You got all these phenomenal, great talent that started Impact Wrestling that were fan favorites over Impact. And WWE didn't take advantage. They didn't take advantage of that talent. Like I'm still waiting for Samoa Joe
for them to do some.
Like to get a strong run. Bobby Roode has not been utilized properly.
Or Lashley.
Yeah.
All of these guys that went over to TNA and just blew up bigger than life.
Yeah.
And they come back, like the only guy they're actually showing some love that went to TNA and came back is Drew.
Yeah, Drew's one. And AJ's the only one that they really pushing that is like a Impact original.
TNA guy,
original that's really getting that push. And the crazy thing to me is it's like how does Vince McMahon get AJ? Like he understands AJ Styles, but he doesn't understand Bobby Roode and all these other guys. Like it's mind-boggling to me. It's horrible.
That's the same way I feel. I think Vince is stuck in that time zone that everybody says that he's stuck in with all the the old 1980s and early 90s big bodybuilder burly guys. Because even to even piggyback on what you were saying, like guys like Ricochet, when he was in when he was Prince Puma over in what's that promotion again? I can't remember the name now.
Ring of Honor?
No, the Lucha promotion.
Oh, Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
When Ricochet was over there and he was Prince Puma, he was killing.
Mm-hmm.
He was killing. He came with WWE and it's like, okay, short push here, short push there. Then when he does get a big push, it's like soon as he gets like halfway through it, they sweep the push from under him.
Yeah.
So it's like right back to the garbage trail. The same thing, like they're doing the same thing with guys like Aleister Black. Like these guys should have top notch matches. Like these guys should be the guys that we're saying are gonna headline the matches for SummerSlam.
Right.
Not guys like, oh yeah, well we're gonna see New Day again. New Day. The big surprise. Oh, Xavier is gonna be back. Maybe. Maybe.
Right.
But it's just like, come on, like how long are we gonna continuously utilize the same guys in hopes of boosting ratings and beating out the competition?
No, absolutely. No, and they definitely need to utilize them a lot better.
Yeah,
all right.
My thing is this. Just one more point. My thing is this: Vincent Kennedy McMahon is in a position where he's at the top. Like he sets the bar. So he's in a position where he can take risks. Because people are gonna watch your product regardless. So you can take risks, and you can be like, all right, well, I see Ricochet. Let's say Ricochet, for instance. I see Ricochet's a hard worker. Cool. Let's give Ricochet a push and see what he do. Like I said, even with last show, we talked about how we feel. Ricochet should have been United States champion a whole lot longer than he was. But you take it from him, put it on AJ Styles, and he never gets it back.
Right.
Even Edge.
Did he even get a return bout? Because
I
mean, even with them cutting off the automatic return bouts.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And even Edge, Edge stated that, before he hangs it up, Ricochet's a guy that he wants to have a match against. So it's just like I said, Vince has talent. Like you said, Si, he has the talent, but he's using the same guys and wringing them dry. Where saying you got all these other guys who's hardworking, who comes to work every day, who's looking to be on the show, but you don't put them on the show. And what a lot of people, like I said, you have a lot of star power that's not there. Like I said, Roman was not there. Kevin Owens, took a hiatus, for a little bit. So these are spots where you can slide new talent in to see what they do, and you're not doing it, which sucks. And which again leads to the point where we made before, where this is the first time in history where you got a lot of guys backstage that's asking for their release.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Way too many. You have way too much talent trying to get out of there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, what we got next?
So as we've seen on Fyter Fest, I'm sorry. Taz debuted the new FTW Heavyweight Championship. As noted, last night Fyter Fest edition of AEW Dynamite on TNT saw Taz bring back the FTW title belt and present it to Brian Cage. This was the big announcement that AEW president Tony Khan had promised, which he said would send shockwaves throughout the world of professional wrestling. The FTW title was designed and created by owner Taz and never owned by ECW. This is why it did not transfer over to WWE's ownership, according to PWI Insider. Taz holds the copyrights on the actual design of the belt, which allows him to do whatever he wants with it, including options to merchandise and design. Cage will be billed as the FTW champion going forward in AEW, as the belt was seen on Dynamite last night as an original belt from ECW. Taz has been in possession of the belt for the last 20 plus years. Taz noted in his promo that he wanted Cage to have some momentum going into next week's title shot from AEW champion Jon Moxley as Fight for the Fallen, and the title previously used the FTW title belt in the original ECW during 1998 and 1999. Sabu was the only other wrestler to hold the belt, which was in unifying the ECW title in March 1999. Taz the one who came up with the original storyline in ECW that led to the reveal of the FTW title.
Okay. Let me just start this off by saying that is an ugly belt. That is the ugliest belt
It's
I've ever
generic.
seen
It's generic. That's
in
what
wrestling.
it is. It's generic.
Okay. Let me say that. That's number one. That belt is, if not as ugly as that TNA title, it is just as ugly. It's one of the most ugliest. But I've seen that belt. I've seen Taz holding the belt up with Brian Cage, and he's holding his belt up, and I'm just like, okay, now this is what I wanted to say, Shad, because I wanted to hold my criticism on AEW until we get on AEW until we get to this portion, because this is where we could like go in a little bit more. So, and this is the thing about AEW. This is my thing about AEW, and I wanted to hold my opinion until now. And this is as I spoke to Jay about this before, we spoke about this in the live before. I said, listen, I said AEW has great potential. They have great talent that they can use and utilize. I said, but one of the issues is branding. I said a lot of their wrestlers look like created characters on 2K. Brian Cage being one of them. He looks like, and I'm like, and when they showcase this belt, I was like, you got a created belt on created character. I was like, this looks like something my little brother made. You know, you get this dude with the spiky hair. The hair makes his whole getup and his whole attire look worse. He has a phenomenal physique. He's a great wrestler. Brian Cage is a great wrestler, but Brian Cage needs to find his look. He needs to find a look that really makes him look strong and dominant. You know, the whole little fire logos and all this other stuff he got going on with the yin and yang with the black and the silver and his attire. It looks weird. He looks like Seth Rollins from 2016 and 2016.
He's a super future Seth.
He's a super future Seth on juice up on steroids. But listen,
Seth.
Right. He does look.
This guy, like Brian Cage,
does look like Seth too.
I think he's a great athlete. I think he does needs to be on the display that he is now. I just think he needs another look. One of the issues, and that's just what I said to Jay before. I said one of the things that's going to possibly kill AEW is their branding. They need to brand better. They need to brand their stages better. Like, you know, because WWE, they have the Titantron and they have a whole stage. The venue is architecturally designed very, very top notch. So AEW has to do the same thing with the architectural design of their venues, and they have to do the same thing with their wrestlers. They have to rebrand them. I've seen some of the wrestlers' attire, and I'm looking at these guys like, you guys look like you put this outfit on yourself. Like, these look like your little brother's pajamas, and you ran in the ring. And you wrestling in your little brother's pajamas. You need to find something that makes you look like a superstar. And
I get what you're saying. What you're saying is basically AEW is what they're doing is they're running a major promotion like an indie show.
No.
That's what it really boils down to.
But Shad, that's the thing. That's not the problem. The problem is not that they're running they're running a high profile show like an indie show, because this is why we want to watch AEW, because we want that indie style wrestling. We want that indie style feel. What we want is the indie style feel with WWE's gloss. Okay,
so what we want is the big promotion. We want the big promotion, the big stage.
Yeah.
To showcase the talent that we have. And
yes,
I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that, because AEW does have some pretty top talent. Like, some of their guys, to me, can seriously compete with some of the top WWE guys. And it's like, you just have to give them a look and give them their chance. Because I've been trying to tell Jay about this guy, Darby Allin, ever since AEW came around. And I'm like, this guy, like, balls to the walls, I don't care, reckless abandon, that's him. And then when you look at his I don't know if he's using it as his signature or his finisher, because he uses it at different times, but the coffin drop. Okay. That move in itself, the recklessness in completing that move in itself is enough for me to actually sit and say that the talent level as far as what they put out is great.
The
But
coffin
to
drop?
piggy, yeah, the coffin drop. It's basically like a stuntman free fall off the top rope.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically like
And
it's basically like doing if you're doing a trust fall, like you're doing a trust fall, but from the top rope.
Okay.
With nobody to catch you. The
His name
intent is for no one to catch you. Yeah, Darby Allin.
I'm gonna see if I can.
He wears like half a face of face paint and the other half no face paint. But I was saying to Jay that I actually just noticed that WWE kind of stole his move already with the young lady Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah.
And I was just saying to Jay, she just stole his move not too long ago, about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
But just like you said though, the branding, the stage show, because I think AEW they basically WCW. They have that WCW type. Just the overall feel is WCW because you got guys like JR, Tony Schiavone. Like these are all vintage WCW guys.
In the production too.
Right. And they're all vintage WCW guys. So it's just like you basically restarted WCW under a totally new moniker, but the overall product so far is seemingly better than what WCW had to offer at the time.
So you're saying that? So you feel that AEW is doing that same thing, or you think that you say AEW is doing the same thing as
AEW is doing the same thing as WCW as far as like the production, like the production standpoint. Like when you sit and watch AEW, whether it be Dynamite or even a pay-per-view, their whole production just gives off that vintage WCW type effect. And I think that's actually what they're pushing for. Which is why I'm saying, like, as far as like certain branding, that's what they're pushing for, because you can't really not look at AEW and not see WCW.
Right, absolutely.
And that's their whole spiel. Then it's like when you look at everything, what channel are they on? TNT. Where was WCW? TNT. You know, so it's just like like when you look at it, it's just that complete WCW feel, which is why I think WWE started saying, you know what, being that we own WCW, let's just go ahead and trademark all of their former pay-per-views and show names, just in case.
Yeah, just in case they try to do it. But I said this before, that this is a pitfall that they have to avoid, and this is the same pitfall that Impact Wrestling fell into, and that was bringing in old talent from WWE and putting them on high platforms and not utilizing the upcoming indie stars, indie darlings, or the already made professional stars that they have in their promotion. And they have to avoid that pitfall. And I feel like AEW is doing a good job at avoiding that pitfall. And it goes back to, the whole thing with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page coming in as indie darlings, and Cody Rhodes even having to not be put in the heavyweight contenders picture of not going for heavyweight gold. But it's a tricky thing, because on one aspect, Cody Rhodes is not competing for heavyweight gold, even though Cody Rhodes would be good for heavyweight gold and possibly be that brand, that name that pushes AEW to the next level. But then they have somebody like John Moxley, who was an ex-WWE World Heavyweight Champion, come in and they gave him a title. Now, Jericho, I understand because Jericho was well deserved. Jericho was well deserving of getting that heavyweight title run, and he was well deserved of being put in that position because the lack of usage and lack of usage of his star power in WWE. They didn't use him properly in WWE.
Right.
But when they brought him to AEW, they was like, we're going to use you properly here. So it made sense for Jericho. But with John Moxley, I think John Moxley was too soon. I feel like they should have put that title on either. They should have tried for Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, or Hangman Page. But those guys,
I agree with that
because they're more fresh, and we've never seen Cody Rhodes with a heavyweight title other than the NWA World Championship and a Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship. We've never seen him with a major title, major brand title. So it would be great to see Cody in that position, and I think the next title run should be given to Cody. Cody needs that because Cody is he's very beloved as an indie darling, and he's very beloved by the WWE universe. We want to see big name Cody. We want to see superstar Cody. That's what we want to see.
Oh yeah, hands down. I agree with that, hands down. Like I've been sitting and watching Back in the Wings myself, but I think them putting the title on Moxley so quick was a matter of timing with him leaving WWE and another way for Cody to like basically stick it to Vince. Because it's like, hey, look, you have this guy, amazing talent. We all know Moxley is an amazing talent. However, at the end of his WWE run, Vince completely threw him in the trash, threw him in the blender. Same thing he did to FTR. It's like my guy, you have these top guys, these guys that can definitely propel your promotion through the roof, but you have to allow it.
Yeah.
You're vetoing all of these things that could, majorly transcend your company, and you're stopping them to put on comic shows.
Right.
Yeah.
The fans don't come to see comic shows. We're here to see professional wrestling. We're here to see superstars do their things, not the superstars that you have running and gun bootlicking, doing all the tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Like, AEW has their fair share of tomfoolery, but it's like with their tomfoolery, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, and just to go back with what you said, just not to keep extending it, but to go back to it with them pulling in the old WWE talent, the way that they're utilizing them is better, in my point of view, to a certain extent for certain guys.
Yeah.
For certain guys, because you still have guys like Sean Spears who are still, scraping at the bottom. And I mean, that was my guy when he was Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
But now he's Sean. He just.
I think they're going to use him properly. I think Sean Spears, once they start giving him that singles, once they start booking him in more matches, because I would like to see Sean Spears be used a lot more in singles competition. He has a great look. First of all, let me just say he has a great look, a great attire. I love his choice of attire change. When he went over into the AEW, I was like, oh man, I love his attire choice. I was like, he has a great look. He shaved his head. I was like, this is dope. This is a great look for him. I would like to see them use him a little bit more.
Yes, because right now they have him playing a comedic role in the fans, in the stands right now. Yeah, right now while there's no fans, like basically his role lately has just been like one of the guys in the crowd, one of the fans.
Wow. That's horrible. Yeah. Okay, let me one last thing before we move over. Before we move forward, I want to say this. Back to this ugly title.
One of two.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think almost all of their titles are disgusting.
Okay,
like right now, almost all of the titles in AEW are trash. They all.
I haven't seen the women's title. The heavyweight title I like. I think it's pretty.
The heavyweight is the women's title is like the heavyweight title, just scaled down to a completely minimal scale. Like the women's title looks like a toy compared to all the other ones. And then with the TNT belt, they didn't fully complete it. Right. So the design they put out now,
fully completed.
It was the rushed design. It's just like, dude, it doesn't have any jeweled accents to it or anything. Yeah. It's just like, dude, it's just like a straight plain belt that says TNT.
Right.
What are you doing with that?
Right. My thing is, if it wasn't complete, why bring it out? You know, that's like it's like you going on a date. You know, take your girl out on a date to meet your boys, and you know she's not really fully dressed. Like she has on one shoe, one sock. You know, say one eyelash done, hair hack done. Yeah. You're like,
I absolutely agree.
We were halfway in.
Bring her out. You know, say, oh well, y'all had to see her. Like y'all had.
Well, yo, let me say this. You know, and again,
I'm using my headphones.
Ugly belt, one of two. And it's crazy because when I seen Taz hold this FTW belt and he had it with so much pride, and it's like, you know, even in the article it says he's the only one that held the belt for, you know, a number of years, and the only other person to hold it was Sabu, and it was unified with the ECW title, which is why I can understand why it has a similarity in look. The thing about it is like, listen, AEW, you guys got to stop introducing these ugly belts. Nobody creates these ugly titles. And then the funny thing about the article is, the article says that Taz can have this belt sold for merchandising. I don't want to spend $300 on that ugly belt. That's an ugly belt.
No way.
That belt is trash. But yeah, let's move forward because we running low on time.
Yeah, what you got? That belt is garbage, man.
All right. Yeah. So the next topic that we have is AJ Styles called Paul Heyman a bold-faced liar.
Bold-faced liar.
About their relationship. A bold-faced liar.
Bold-faced.
That's deep. This was going around that AJ Styles left Raw to go to Smackdown because he was being bullied. That may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Styles says. I mean, I'm a grown man. If there's some bullying going on that upset me enough to leave Raw and go to SmackDown, I would handle it. And whether I got whether I got my tail beat or not, I handle it. I'm a grown man, so I'll just throw one out there. When it came to the rumors about Paul Heyman and being upset with him because he didn't take up for Gallows and Anderson before they got released, that's not it at all, AJ continued. It's not even close. I'll give you the snippet of me. Me get Gallows and Anderson already know. Paul Heyman is a liar. Now you know. I'm sure you heard before. If you go back to the ECW days, you'll hear he's a bold-faced liar. So that's my take on that. I'll let Gallows and Anderson add to it. So it is July, and he called him a Julier.
Well,
wait, no, but you got to be careful with that comment because Paul Heyman, I believe he is Jewish. So I know you're saying, you got to be careful with that comment, Jay, because somebody hear this and they think you trying to say something else. You know what I mean? So
right.
Okay, so
that's not what you. But
no
we know
anti-Semitism here, my guy.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
anti-Semitism here.
You're right. My bad.
We're not about that life. We ain't about that. But Jay, that's not what Jay meant. Jay was saying it's the month of July.
Right.
Most definitely.
They call him a liar, and he's a Julier because he's a liar in the month of July.
Right. Not Jewish, and yeah.
Not that. Right. We love everybody. We ain't on that kind of stuff.
Agreed.
My take on this whole Paul Heyman thing is, I think that one of the things is that Paul tried to promise more than he could produce. This is what I think. This is what I think. I'm not there. I'm not AJ. I wasn't in his shoes to know exactly what the things were, but that would be my assumption. I could be totally wrong, but for me being a optimist thinker and want to think the best of Paul Heyman, I don't know Paul Heyman, but I have heard that about Paul Heyman in the past, that he has a thing of trying to promise more than he can deliver on.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that was one of the biggest issues with Paul. But that would be my assumption of why he was called a liar. I don't know what the issue was, but that would be my assumption.
Okay. Well, I mean, the way I see it, and I actually heard an article similar to this same article today, which AJ said the same things. You know, when you do look at it, and it could be just like you say, when Paul took over as the head guy on Raw, you know, that may have been something where he thought he had the full freedoms to be able to do so. But, you know, we all know that under Vince McMahon's situation, he'll give you all the power in the world, but you still got to answer to him,
right?
when it comes final say so. So you know, it's you know, I like Saheem just said, I can completely agree with, you know, that could have been the full situation, the full spectrum of the whole situation. It could have been, hey, you know, I'm gonna give you this. We're gonna shoot for the sun, the moon, the stars, and you know, if we don't get that, I'll get you the black hole at the end of the galaxy. But you know, by the time you get halfway there, Vince is like, look here, over in Titan Towers, you're gonna have to settle for these few mid-card roles and a couple of jobs, and then that's it.
Yeah,
you're out of here.
Right.
A couple of contract extensions, and then you're out of here. You know?
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. A couple of contract extensions and you're gone. Right. Like Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler right now, he is I get so frustrated. I get so frustrated with the usage of Dolph, Finn. Like even at Great American Bash, like the fact that Finn wasn't even on the card is frustrating. Right. Like,
but see, again, you know what that is because for Finn, they're really trying to find a way to scrape the barrel to find some guys to face him, because they pretty much had everybody already sort of in storylines. And then it was just like, with him stepping back into NXT, it was just like, okay, well, we'll add you to a couple of these storylines and see how it plays out, how it spins out. But my main thing is they're underutilizing his character range as far as the Prince Devitt character. Because the Prince character, if you look at his indie past, he's been the Prince, and as the Prince, he was a killer. All of his entrances, your boy comes out every entrance as a new somebody, and it's just like WWE is never gonna allow that. And then when you look at it, it's like, okay, they're trying to figure out whether we want to have him battle in NXT UK or if we want to have him in NXT US. So it's like, you know, how are we going to figure it out with the talent of his magnitude without causing him to catch that downfall? And right now he's in that downward spiral. I like how they call it on this other podcast I was watching. They call it the mid-card vortex. And he's in there. He's in there hard.
I mean,
That mid card vortex is the worst, man.
right.
Absolutely.
And what we saw in NXT, looks like he's about to go back into a program with Johnny Gargano, because Johnny stated that he's the reason why, he didn't become a North American champ and go on to fight Adam Cole for the title versus title. So it looks like they're gonna go back and have him and Gargano and have a match. And I'm not gonna lie to you, those two have the capability to steal the show.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
hands down.
Absolutely.
So
Hands
and,
down.
and hey, we even have Tommaso Ciampa in the wing, who's not doing anything currently. So I wouldn't be surprised if they mess around and throw Finn and Ciampa.
Now
I would love
that you
to see
said
Finn
that,
and Gargano. I mean, I'm
Now
sorry.
that-
I would love to see Finn and Gargano and Finn and Ciampa. I would definitely love to see Finn and Ciampa. I think that'll be crazy.
right now, I would love to see Finn and Ciampa, because we've already seen the previews of what Finn and Johnny could fully be.
Right.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on the Ciampa thing, I was actually since we're in the rumors and news area, they've been talking about trying to find a new situation for Randy, and there's been talks of him going to NXT, and the top two guys I've been hearing so far that they've been saying he could have a running program with are Ciampa and Adam Cole. So, what do you guys think of that? Randy Orton, Tommaso Ciampa, and or Adam Cole?
Ciampa will be a good match. Obviously, we talked about it before. It will be pointless, and it would kill Randy's momentum to do a match like that before SummerSlam. So after, he fights, Drew McIntyre, then they can, throw that in there. But I think that would be a great match. As far as Adam Cole, that's another one that they can tear the roof down, because during the whole Survivor Series build-up, Adam Cole went to SmackDown, defended his NXT title versus Daniel Bryan, ended up winning that. Then the next night on Raw, he ended up defending his title against Seth Rollins. So Adam definitely showed that he can hang with some of the top guys on the main roster. But Randy's in a different atmosphere right now. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. But that's just something I've been seeing on the rumor reports. So that's been a top one.
This is how I feel about that. Me and Jay, we spoke about that before, and
Okay.
I think Jay. I think Randy going to NXT is a move backwards. They need to bring Ciampa up to a Raw or a SmackDown. However they're going to do it with Randy, because Randy's on Raw, so they need to bring Ciampa to Raw and have Ciampa work that program with Randy. Have Ciampa come to Raw. Don't have Randy go to NXT. The reason why I'm saying that is because Randy right now is a staple in Raw. He's a top face. He's a top heel. He's a top superstar. It's backwards. It's totally backwards. Like with Charlotte Flair, that was one of my issues with Charlotte Flair. I didn't think that Charlotte Flair was going to actually win that battle against Rhea Ripley. I thought Rhea Ripley was going to retain, but the fact that they even allowed Charlotte Flair to have that title, I thought it was just completely backwards. But for Randy,
you're not the only one who thinks that way.
Yeah, and for Ciampa to go, and for Randy to go to NXT and then fight Ciampa, it's like, no, like the fact that Randy did it before. He went there and he fought a match there before, but it's like, no, it's going to take away everything that Randy has now built off of the momentum that he's coming off with Edge. He has great momentum off of this whole feud with Edge. Going into now this feud with Drew McIntyre, this is a great thing. So even after his, because I already feel like the SummerSlam match between him and Drew McIntyre is going to be a great match. I know it's going to be a good match. I just feel like after they run their little storyline, he should not go to NXT. They should have Ciampa come up, fight him, And then if Ciampa decides to sign on to the main roster, then he can. If he decides to go back to
Right.
NXT, let him go back to NXT. But don't have it the opposite way.
Right.
Yeah.
You see that right there as well. And I think that Ciampa actually made it clear before that he actually doesn't want to really step up to the schedule of the main roster. So that right there in itself is, kind of puts it in a never gonna happen, type of realm. But just the fact that they're even giving it thought as far as
Yeah.
an actual program, I thought that was something to really give a little bit of light in discussion to.
Yeah. Well, if Campa does go to Raw just to work a program with Randy, his I don't think his schedule will be anything different from his NXT. It may be a little bit heavy if they still want him to go to still do tapings on NXT while he works a program with Randy on Raw.
Right.
So that would make Campa stretch, but I feel like the feud would only work well for Campa more
If
so
he was
than
to
Randy,
move
because
up.
Randy doesn't need Campa. Campa
Right.
needs Randy. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
so again, so I think it'll be better for Campa to adjust to that to adjust a little bit more in his schedule in order to work that whole promo with Randy. Like, but if Campa doesn't want to do it, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But it to me, if I was Randy, I wouldn't. I mean, Randy's probably open to doing it anyway. And maybe it'll work, but it takes away from that high profile feel that Randy already has with the promotion if he goes backwards.
I mean,
But
I agree. I feel like Ciampa. If they do have the match, I agree with you, Sides. Ciampa should go to Raw and have a one-off couple matches with Randy, but he shouldn't stay on Raw because obviously we know if he stays on Raw, it's going to be a situation where he gets lost in the shuffle and he's going to be the EC3 or the Eric Young, and he's just going to be one of those guys who's in as Shad said it, the mid card vortex, but instead of the mid card vortex, it'll be
Vortex, man.
NXT roster upgrade vortex. So I don't think he should stay, but to go to Raw to have a couple one-off matches like they were doing at one point, I think that would be a great idea. Or even him go up just to have a decent program with Randy and then go back to NXT.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Moving forward in news, Jay, what else we got?
So this is an interesting topic. So Sheamus says the League of Nations stable was created to help build Roman Reigns.
And I'll be honest with you, before you even go into reading the news about that, you know what? I knew that. I felt that. I mean, I felt.
Yeah,
I think we all knew that. I think we all knew that.
Right.
Yeah.
So here is Sheamus.
It's a not well worked program anyway.
Right. So here's what Sheamus said about the reason how and why he found out, well, how he found out about the League of Nations being created. So this is what Sheamus said. This is Sheamus's words. So what happened was I had just beaten Roman Reigns. I cashed in the Money in the Bank, Sheamus explained. This was on a Sunday at Survivor Series. I didn't know I was going to cash in until that night. Then the next night on Raw, that day on League of Nations. By the way, the whole thing came me Noble. I remember Jamie Noble telling me, I got an idea. Hilarious. I was thinking, okay, how's this going to work? What's the idea? There was no idea behind it. There was no plan behind it. And then on Raw, they just put the four of us together. Even though all four of us individually were doing pretty good, pretty successful, and holding our own weight in the company. So basically, you had four strong heels that were put together to make a really weak faction called the League of Nations. Sheamus said, people talk about the Shield being this dominant and all other groups being dominant. the thing is, we could have easily been we could have been a hugely successful group, very dominant. But in our first match together, we was on SmackDown, so we debuted on Raw. We we beat up Roman, and then on SmackDown, so basically we lost a 4-on-1 match to Roman the very next day. You look at the Wyatts, you look at the Wyatt family. You have the Shield and everything. There's no reason why we couldn't have been as dominant as those groups. Sheamus said, "Of course we were dominant because we were booked, but we weren't booked that way. We were literally booked to build Roman. They didn't need 4 top heels to go into that group and do that. They could have had 2 or 3 or whatever." Sheamus added, "But yeah, when they started imploding, everyone in the group started losing their minds. That was like butting heads against everybody and just a complete disaster by the end. But at the end, I think it was all just like, I'm glad it's over." Yeah.
I mean, I think we told. I feel like. Well, I'll let you guys go ahead. You guys want to shoot first? Go ahead. Because I was ready to jump in.
Man. League of Nations, bro.
My thing is, that was one of the most racist things that in my life. Like, you can, so you got your guys, you got 4 guys from 4 different continents to say, "Hey, I'm gonna put you guys in a group." And thank goodness Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't there at the time, because he would have been part of that group. I tell you that.
Facts.
But
big fact.
But yeah, it's just sad. Like, you and as Sheamus said, they were doing great. Like, Rusev was doing his thing. Sheamus was doing his thing as a dominant. Wade Barrett, as you say, side. Wade, you was real high on Wade, and Wade was dominating, and coming of his own on the in the singles competition, in the singles division, and even with Alberto Del Rio coming back, he was holding his own. So again, I'm with Sheamus. Why would you put this group together if they're not going to be dominant? Now, if they was going to be dominant and run roughshod through the WWE, then that makes sense. But you bring 4 strong people together, 4 strong individuals separately. You bring them together, and they suck. Like, that's dumb. That's like you bringing the Avengers together, but then they can't beat nobody. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah,
that's why it's not the Avengers, bro. You see, you're not bringing forward the Avengers. You got to look at it like this. You have Vince McMahon, the king of, I hate factions, tag teams, all of the above. Anytime. Listen, when you really look at WWE, what factions have come out that have had longevity? WWE-based factions. DX.
Right.
New Day.
New Day. Well, yeah, okay. I'm not really counting New Day as a faction, because the way they started and the way they ended up is completely different. Mm-hmm. New Day was supposed to be a black revolutionist group.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. But they
are now is just pure entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, they basically went a complete route, reroute from where they were supposed to originate. Mm-hmm. WWE, it goes back to Vince McMahon hating tag teams.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, like there has been no legit factions that have started in WWE that have lasted long. Nation of Domination didn't last long. Los Boricuas didn't last long. You had what was it? The brothers DOA didn't last long.
Yeah,
Ministry of Darkness didn't last long. The Corporation didn't last long. The Squad didn't last long.
The corporation had some length. The corporation last. Well, I mean, now when you mean last long, like what's the length of time you're talking about?
All right, you know what? You're right. They did have a little bit of longevity with the corporation. A few factions made it through the cracks, but it's like Vince McMahon, his faction game. Nope. He'll put them together, tear them down just as fast as he put them together.
That's true.
And to piggyback, it made no sense whatsoever for League of Nations to be that garbage.
Right.
when they put them, when they put them in the ring, like these, you have
Well,
4 guys,
well,
immaculate talent, like you said.
let me say this. Let me say this real quick.
Mhm.
The thing about the League of Nations, they were they were booked wrong. I think you know what would have been a
Completely.
better feud for Roman if Roman would have feud with Wade Barrett. If it was Wade Barrett who won that Money in the Bank briefcase, after coming off the King of the Ring, wins the briefcase. But I think the reason why they didn't book Barrett was because they knew that Barrett would be cheered as a babyface. So I think the reason why they booked Sheamus
Right.
was because they knew Sheamus would be cheered, would be booed and hated because they know the fans don't like Sheamus. But
That's
I think
yeah.
if they were to book it right or book it better to bring more interest, because again, nobody liked Sheamus and people weren't really feeling Roman. So now you got 2 wrestlers that
Right.
people don't really like fighting, people are going to boo. But at least with Wade Barrett, you had somebody that people like fighting against Roman. Even though Roman was probably getting booed, it would still bring more attention to Roman and
Right.
give that time and that space for Roman to kind of shine the way they trying to get him to shine. They should have had the championship belt on Wade Barrett. They should have had a United States belt on Rusev, not Alberto Del Rio. Overrated
Agreed.
Alberto Del Rio.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Sheamus
Agreed.
and Alberto Del Rio should have been the extra 2. And you're right. Like as quick as they built them up, it was as quick as they tore them down. Because it's like as soon as Roman won the belt, it was like 2 weeks later they were like dispersed. It was like what the heck? Like
Yeah.
these guys were together for like a month.
Right.
It was like soon as Roman won, it was like, oh well, Wade's contract is up. Alberto is big timing.
Yeah.
We're gonna punish Rusev because him and Lana just got married and messed
Right.
up our storyline with Dolph. So
Yeah.
it was like the only one that made it out unscathed to a certain extent was Sheamus, and all he really got was just take these quick ass whippings, these quick losses, and just
Right.
go on about your day.
Yeah. But
You
at
know,
least he got a title reign out of it though. At least he
right?
got a title.
Right.
At least he did get a title reign out of it. You're
At
right.
least. Yeah.
Because
All
I mean, even right now, with him coming back from injury, they're still not even trying to give him much love.
right.
Sheamus?
Sheamus, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got him in the Jeff Hardy storyline, which we both agree that it's horrible.
That storyline is atrocious.
Right. So
Worst storyline to date.
right. So here's the last rumors that we have. That we can go to the SmackDown review due to time. So right now, Rey Mysterio is not under contract with WWE. So, which means to say that maybe that the eye for an eye match with Seth Rollins may be the way that they kind of take him off or write him off of television. And right now, Jeff Hardy has not re-signed, and he's refusing to re-sign with WWE, which again kind of indicates that he's on his way with his brother to AEW.
Wait, so Jeff, okay, hold on, you gotta slow down, Jay. You gotta slow down because you're moving too fast. All right, so hold on a second, Jay. All right, so let's start with Rey Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio is no longer under contract with WWE. But he's still showing up. So I guess he's just doing these independent showings, like how Heath Slater just showed up. He got paid for his time to show up, and I guess he's going to run this storyline out into Extreme Rules, and then I guess he's going to, I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been partly entertained by this storyline with Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio, but for the most part, I just really like I just want to see Seth Rollins go into a serious feud. This whole eye for an eye thing is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's wearing thin. I'm annoyed. I'm ready to, I'm done. I'm done with this whole Rey Mysterio storyline. I'm also done with the whole storyline with his son, Nicholas.
Dominic.
Right? Nicholas, Dominic, whatever, same thing. But
I mean, he's not even an official WWE superstar. This is about his 3rd or 4th storyline.
Right.
Dominic been in storyline since Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, this guy grew up on television, man. This guy's like Elijah Wood, and Haley Johansson and
Mr. Frodo?
Yeah, he's like one of
called
those.
him Mr. Frodo.
Right. This kid done grew up. He done grew up in WWE since a little kid, man. I remember he fought. One of the most ridiculous matches was Rey Mysterio fighting Eddie Guerrero in custody. What is this? What are we doing? Yes. We got BCW cases and Raw. Like, what is that? What is this?
Big fact. I definitely agree with that one.
And then you're putting a kid in danger in a match. Like, are you serious? What is this?
Exactly.
This is ridiculous. But Rey Mysterio no longer signed. I don't know what to think of this. I just think that I think they're trying to make this a serious storyline. I'm not entertained by this storyline. I think when I watch Raw, I'm not into the storyline. I'm entertained by Seth Rollins, Monday Night Messiah antics, walking around with the glove, doing the whole foolishness. I think it's funny, but besides that, I'm just not into it. But I don't know what he's going to do. I think Ray is probably at that age where he might take some time off before. He has been having, some physical issues with his body, whatever, from injuries he suffered from way back when and stuff like that. And I heard that he wants to take time off. I heard about this like months ago. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've been hearing about Ray and talks of taking time off / retiring for I'd say the better portion of a year now.
Yeah.
And I mean, they say that he wants to retire or at least fall into some type of mentor role. But it's like the way that WWE has been restructuring their luchadors is like, who are you going to mentor, Ray? Because the guys you were supposed to be mentoring, Lucha House Party, Kalisto is out, and the rest of them is in Burgerville. So, I mean, it's like, Kalisto being their main guy with him being out. It's like, who else do they got? What's the other guy? Grand Metalik.
Grand Metalik. Grand Metalik. Okay. Yeah.
Grand Metalik and
Grand Metalik. You have Kalisto, and you have what is his name? He left.
I can't even see. Look, you can't even remember the guy's name because they in Burgerville.
Yeah, Jay, what's his name? You know his name. The guy with the mask.
Find out right now.
Oh man.
Lince Dorado.
What's his name?
Lince Dorado.
Okay. I was thinking about the other guy. The other guy with the mask. The one who got the mask, like the Spider-Man mask.
Oh, Sin Cara.
Sin Cara.
Oh no.
But
Sin Cara was on his way out the door from jump because the original guy that they got to come in was just toe up from gate. So they messed up. WWE missed out on the whole Sin Cara. They missed out on the whole Sin Cara everything because that was just tragedy from the gate.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so we know that Rey Mysterio is retiring, right? Who should be Rey Mysterio's last opponent?
Ooh.
And this is a challenging one. I think
he's already faced Andrade multiple times.
Too many times.
Too many times, right? I think he should. You know what? I think he should have his last match. If they're serious about pushing this person, it's two people I think about, right?
His son,
Shorty G, or
Chad Gable.
But and the only reason why I say Shorty G, just hear me out. The only reason why I say Shorty G is if they really give Chad Gable a serious makeover with his character, and then have him have that match with Rey Mysterio, it'll be dope. But if they still keep him as Shorty G and have him fight Rey Mysterio, don't do it.
Basketball shorts.
Yeah, see, that right there is what I'm talking about when I say the mid-card vortex. Right there.
Yeah.
Shorty G.
Yeah.
My man went from Olympics Chad Gable to getting beat up by Baron Corbin to now he's Shorty G, the hip hop guy. Really?
You know what?
Really?
You know, I got it. I know. Okay, I got it. I know who he should who his last match his last opponent should be. His last opponent should be Randy Orton. Randy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they had a classic match at WrestleMania. It was Randy, Angle, and Ray. It should be Randy.
And then the whole Legend Killer, that would work.
Yeah, it worked. It would work.
But now, if you're talking about him leaving and helping pass the torch, it shouldn't be Randy. It should be one of the new guys. Maybe I don't want to say Umberto.
Please don't say Umberto.
Not Umberto.
Please don't say Umberto.
No, not Umberto. Definitely not Umberto. But maybe the other kid, this dude that just jumped up with Seth,
Buddy Murphy.
Theory was it Austin Theory?
Now, the only thing with Austin Theory conspicuous by his absence, I'm glad you said that. He is the latest name that came up with the Speak Out movement, which is the reason why he wasn't on Raw this past Monday.
Man. Damn.
All I'm going to say is thanks a lot, Sammy. This is all because of Sammy.
Oh man.
I mean, it's not a funny situation or a funny statement to make, but thanks a lot, Sammy.
Right.
You put a damper on another damper on wrestling for a while. That's starting to trickle down to everybody.
Wait, so this whole Speak Out movement started because of Sami Zayn?
No, Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara. Oh, the guy who made the comment about
the whole rape comment about Sasha.
Right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Sammy. You suck.
Thanks a lot, Sammy. It's like ever as soon as that hit the airwaves, everybody started going down, man.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. But I have to say this. It is much needed. These situations are very serious, and it's important. You know what I'm saying? Like these situations need to be brought up because even backstage there's been a lot of mistreatment with a lot of the WWE superstars. Like the WWE superstars have to buy their own insurance. They don't have medical health insurance. They don't have a union in WWE. Vince McMahon was very big on making sure that the wrestlers didn't unionize so that they would be entitled to certain things because Vince didn't want to pay out health benefits and dental benefits and make sure that they were in proper condition. So Vince held out on those things. And with the mistreatment of wrestlers already having to deal with that in its pocket, then there was even the whole scandal with the Fabulous Moolah, how she was pimping out the women in the women's division, how she was pimping the women out to wrestlers and not only pimping them out but taking 50% of their purse for every match. You know what I'm saying? In order to be mentored by her. So she was pimping them out financially and physically. So these are topics that definitely need to be brought to a head. So it sucks, but these are things that need to be stopped. So we want our wrestlers to be in mental health. Have great mental health and be in a great mental health condition as well as be able to maintain themselves in a great physical condition as well. So It's needed. It's needed.
Right.
So Jay,
that's why they call them independent contractors. That's why they try to throw that label up there, independent contractors.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The independent contract. Yeah, so that Vince McMahon, don't have to take care of his employees the way he should as a corporation.
Right. Especially a public traded company at that.
Yeah, the guy's a billionaire.
Like, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Jay, so the other thing you brought up was Jeff Hardy not willing to sign new contract with WWE. Hey, listen, WWE has done nothing but roll out a red carpet for Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy is very loyal to his brother. Jeff Hardy is like I'm gonna tell. There's a list of wrestlers who are on the squanders list, right? Where the WWE has like literally handed them opportunities, and they have squandered these opportunities. Alberto Del Rio, Jeff Hardy, who's another one that squandered their opportunity? Roman Reigns. Who's another
talk about
one?
wrestling too, baby?
So you have like a list of these wrestlers who've been handed certain opportunities and they squandered them. Jeff Hardy is one of the wrestlers who squandered so many opportunities with WWE. They slapped
Not even just WWE, man.
huh?
Not just WWE. Jeff been squandering them everywhere, bro. He been squandering them everywhere, bro. I mean, your boy
Hardy,
in my opinion, TNA drunk at a title match at a title match.
Yeah, against
Twisted,
Sting, right.
His mind twisted, couldn't even compete.
Yeah, right.
He's been killing himself for years, man.
He's one. I think he's one of the most overrated wrestlers. He's a great in-ring performer. He's a great worker. But as far as the total package and all this like fanfare that people try to put on Jeff Hardy as a great this whatever, like, no, Jeff Hardy is so overrated. Jeff Hardy is, to me, is and I always felt like it was bad. I'll just leave it. Let me just leave it there. But what do you guys think about this whole thing, Jeff? Or what are your thoughts?
Like I said, like you said, he's been handed opportunity after opportunity. We know Vince loves Jeff. We all know he loves Jeff more than he loves Matt. And that's clear. But in Jeff's defense, we know that he probably would have left with Matt when Matt initially left, but with him being injured, that kind of held him under contract a little longer. But the obviously ultimate goal is, he wants to go to AEW with Matt, and with the whole drunk storyline, even though he probably okayed it, but he's probably not okay with it. You know what I'm saying? He probably didn't like it, but he's probably one of them guys like, all right, well, I'm older, whatever. I guess you guys want to do a program. You think it'll be cool, whatever. But it's a slap in the face. So me personally, I would feel some type of way. I'm dealing with these real life demons, and now you want to bring it to storyline. No, I'm not okay with that. It's especially something he's been dealing with for years. It's not like this just happened. Like, he's been fighting with these things for years. As John said, he came up to he appeared for a world title match on a live pay-per-view drunk. So
twisted. Your boy Space Mountain wasn't even the destination. Your boy was past Space Mountain.
Space Mountain. Yeah, my man, he was blasted. Yeah.
To jump on it, like, when you look at it, you got to look at it like this. Jeff, just like Saheem said, Jeff wasted numerous opportunities. And when you look at it, if you actually sit and look at it, yes, Jeff had more star potential, but Matt was actually the better wrestler out of the two.
Yeah.
And with this, with the storyline, at least I say it this time, at least Jeff wasn't fired this time. The last time he was fired when he was, caught out there. And then, well, not the last time, but actually the last time he was signed to WWE and he was caught out there, for his demons, he was fired. This time he was just suspended for a while. Then his injuries came in. And now they're like, okay, well, we know you're on your way out the door because you're not going to re-sign. So Let's just put all that on Front Street in your final storyline with us.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, that right there, then I think WWE putting out this storyline right now could be something to potentially damage that relationship with Jeff for the future, just in case if they want to bring them back later on.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I think they completely squandered Matt with the broken image, and then, you know, to see what Matt is doing now to go to AEW and, you know, continue on with what they started in TNA. And it's like WWE was just like, yeah, okay, a little small stepping stone for them to get to actually get back to the promised land as far as his character goes.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, with Jeff not re-signing, it's gonna be a gift. It's gonna be a gift way more than a curse.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree, and I feel like, you know, I totally agree. I just want to piggyback on that portion you mentioned about them using the storyline to potentially damage Jeff, because I think, and this is what I think. I want to go a little bit further with that. I think that they already offered him this contract months in advance before he even probably came back from an injury. And he probably never wanted to sign. It's like, oh, you don't want to sign? All right, check this out. We got this fantastic new angle for you, right? We got a great angle for you. So this angle, and you know, it deals with your drinking habits and you overcoming your demons. And we're gonna have Sheamus set up a bar, and he's gonna throw liquor in your face and all types. And Jeff probably looking at him like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. Trust me, it's gonna be fantastic. But you know, they did that all just because he probably didn't want to sign. They know he wants to leave. And I feel like they're probably doing it because they're bitter about it. And I feel like they're probably doing it because they're bitter about, you know, Jeff. They probably knew. They probably completely knew about, you know, they knew about it. I think they knew about it in advance. They probably knew.
I agree. I think so too.
All right. So, all right. So we're gonna go down the card list.
Jumping in my shirt.
We're gonna go down the Smackdown card list real quick. We're going to rate the Smackdown
show.
We are just gonna go down the card list of all the matches on SmackDown to kind of get a pretty much a rating, thumbs up, thumbs down. We want to know what you guys thought about SmackDown, and before and after we do the rating, we're going to go over to one more article real quick, so that we can deal with sort of like the mishandling of the roster of WWE. So we're just going to go down the card real quick of the rating of SmackDown. Yes. So we're just going to give a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you guys got any quick comments that you want to add, some quick commentary you want to add on any match that happened during SmackDown, you guys can definitely add some quick commentary, but we're just going to go through real quick. All right. So SmackDown's match card, we have Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. What do you guys think of the match? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I thought it was a thumbs down. I'll give that a thumbs down.
I'm in the middle. I'm somewhere in the mid range.
I give it. All right. We have Bailey
underutilizing Miz again.
Underutilizing Miz. Gotcha. All right. Bailey and Sasha Banks defeats Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That was you know what? I'm gonna give it thumbs down. I'm tired of Bailey already. I'm tired of seeing Bailey. I'm done with Bailey.
Yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs down just off the appeal of Sasha and Bailey. I think them giving them the title back was a good thing, but the way they're running their angle right now is kind of exhausting them on TV. So it's just like enough is enough for them for now. Like let's see somebody else. We don't need to see them every week, every show.
Absolutely. We have Braun Strowman defeating Bray Wyatt for the WWE Universal title. The Money in the Bank match was replayed on SmackDown, so we can take a look inside their feud. I'm not going to grade this one because seen the match. It was a replay.
Right. The reason that's why I'm giving it a thumbs down, because it was pointless to show that match. And you want to, build the match, but why would you show that match? You saw it already.
Look, it was not even for the fact. Look, for me, it's not even for the fact that we saw the match already. The match was trash to begin with. The initial product sucked, so it didn't need a replay. It didn't need one. Just thumbs down.
Thumbs down. All right. So WWE Karaoke Showdown.
Oh my!
JJ, it's time to play the game.
Working hard.
I don't know why, but that segment with Tamina was so hilarious. Only person I could think about was JJ. That's the only person I was like, I hope JJ is watching this. I was like, yo, I watched that steak. I just kept rewinding Tamina's part. I just wanted to see. She's like, time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Now, I unfortunately missed the segment, but Jay explained it to me probably about an hour or so before we went live. And I said to him from jump, I said, nobody did Real American? What happened to vintage Hogan? Nobody's gonna pull a Hogan? That's the ultimate go-to WWE intro song.
That is
you can't go wrong with Real American. Yeah, Real American and Sexy Boy. Those are the two most WWE entrance themes ever.
True. All right. So because of Tamina, I give it a
Yeah, just off of the overall comedy aspect of what Jay explained to me, which makes me want to have to watch it. I gotta give it a thumbs up just because. Just
watch. Watch the whole thing. But when you get to Tamina's part, to me, I don't know why, but it was the funniest thing to me.
Because Tamina was like quiet. She's supposed to be a dominating, but you see her twirl her hair, time to play the game. And she
right.
She was rocking out.
Yeah,
but you know what makes it even more funnier? Because when Jay is sitting there introducing her, you can see the look on her face, like, I can't believe they got me doing this bullshit. Right? You can see it on her face. She's like, I can't believe. She's like, this. You can see it on her face, but then she was like, you know what? I gotta get paid. I gotta get this WWE check. So I'm gonna just do it. So she was like, time to play the game. She turned her head. She was like, "Time to play the game." It's hilarious. It's the weirdest thing. All right, let's move forward. Naomi versus Lacey Evans ends in a disqualification. I give that a thumbs down. Didn't care too much for the match.
Trash.
I don't think those two even need an actual storyline to be even put in place.
Yeah.
They don't need to put a storyline in place for those two.
All right. And the last match we have is the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro ends in a disqualification. I thought this match was pretty good.
It was.
I liked it. It was pretty good. It was the match of the night, honestly. It was the best. It was the best match there. The best match of the night. All right. So that's it for the SmackDown card.
Like New Day. I mean, when you got talent like the New Day, I mean, I haven't really seen them put up too many stinkers. That's one thing about them. They've been fairly consistent.
All right. So here we go for the question of the day, of the episode, I should say. We had this article posted up on a few blogs. Jay pulled it up. Who had the worst run after being called up to the main roster?
Hold on,
wait a minute.
EC3. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a EC3.
No. Well,
Because my whole thing, the reason I say EC3 was first of all, I feel he was called to the main roster too soon. That's my thing, because he was building momentum on NXT. They should have kept him there. That's number one. So the reason I say EC3, when he first got called to the main roster, he didn't talk. Like every time he's about to say something or talk, they cut him off. So then like, okay, fine. So he had maybe 1 or 2 matches, and then he's in the 24/7 title hunt chasing R-Truth for the next 2-3 months. And then after that, you know what I'm saying? He's
disappeared. Gone.
He had no
SummerSlam.
I
mean, he couldn't even go make it on main event. Like,
SummerSlam.
Oh, shoot.
That's what I'm saying, man. They did your boy dirty, man.
At least everyone else on this list had a title or a decent section. EC3 didn't have anything.
Everybody, the only other people on this whole list that didn't have a title was the Ascension.
The Ascension had everybody, didn't they?
Huh?
Yeah. Wasn't they tag champs at one point?
Nah, they never won. I promise you, Ascension.
No, they were just making. They just had a big push.
Oh, they had
a
big
push. But then they failed off. You said they won one, Jay?
Yeah.
I know they had the NXT tag champions. I don't remember if they had the roster.
Ascension never won the tag titles.
Okay.
On the main roster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, even if that's the case, if they didn't win anything on the main roster, like they at least got something on NXT.
Right.
EC3.
And they had
EC3 didn't have no titles in NXT, if I'm not mistaken.
You said what?
Wasn't he cut? Wasn't EC3 cut the first time he was on NXT?
Yeah, they
sent him to TNA, and then he came back, which is this run, which he made a little impact, and then got sent to the main roster just to disappear.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'd have to go with EC3 for not having a title in WWE at all. Bo Dallas was at least NXT champ at one point.
Yeah, tag champ.
He
was tag champ.
Yeah.
Didn't he have
tag champ? Tag champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, two-time tag champ. NXT champion.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody up there had some form of WWE title.
Right.
Even Bobby Roode, didn't he have the NXT title for a while?
Yeah, the NXT title, and he had the US championship. He had the Smackdown tag championship, so he's had gold.
Yeah, you got Jordan and Gable. They had the tag titles once down in NXT.
I think the person out of this whole list that squandered their opportunity, that had the best opportunity out of everybody in this list was Pac.
Neville.
He had the best opportunity. Neville had the best opportunity because he left WWE because he didn't like how he was being booked against Enzo Amore. But if he would have stayed and that whole situation would have happened with Enzo, they would have put the belt right back on him, and he would have had a link.
He was already listed as the king of the cruiserweights.
Right.
And he was already
the top guy.
Yeah, he was already the top guy. He should have never left.
Right.
Because he probably would have been wrestling for the Intercontinental United States. They probably would have pushed him higher.
They would have
in 205.
I agree. But see, you know, with that, what led to that was the horrible booking with Enzo. Was after he came back from the injury, he was reluctant to do his finisher, and that's what Vince was banking on. Vince was banking on him doing that Red Arrow.
Neville? Yeah. Wow.
They
Okay.
were banking on him big time for his finisher, and then when he came back from injury, like you saw he barely went to the top, and then all his moves after that became like serious on the ground. I'ma kick your ass move,
Mm. Yeah. Mm.
which I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
which turned out to be more beneficial for him in the
Yeah.
overall grand scheme, because when you look at his career now, it's like he basically left WWE at the top, and he's still kicking. He's still
Yeah.
doing his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. He actually has a stronger persona in the indies,
Much
and it's
stronger,
better.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
dope. I don't why doesn't he want to sign with AEW though?
I think because he's still contractually signed with the promotion he was with before, and I think it's something where the contracts won't mesh properly.
Okay.
So until the other contract expires, he's not gonna sign with AEW full on.
Yeah, he definitely needs to sign. He needs to go to AEW or probably I would want him to go back to WWE. Hopefully Vince doesn't hold a grudge against him, because some wrestlers Vince holds a grudge
Oh
and he
yeah, Vince
buries them
holds
when they come
big time
back.
grudges.
Yeah, and some he
Big time
loves
grudges.
like a son, like Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy could do no wrong to Vince
Hands down.
McMahon. Oh my
No
God, man.
way.
Jeff Hardy could do
Because
no.
with Neville's luck, he'll come back and he'll be in in a faction with Ricochet and Cedric Alexander.
Oh man, the two guys that Vince hates the most right now.
Right.
Word.
Vince is like, oh, they're high flyers and they're black. Nah, throw them under the bus.
He's like flying Negroes. I've never seen that before.
Word.
They're jobbers. He's like, we can't have flying Negroes on our show.
He's like, all of these guys can fly. Throw them under the bus.
Right. All right, guys. So that concludes our episode of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. If you guys are catching us on Facebook Live, drop a comment below. We want to hear from you. We want to know, who do you think had the worst run on the main event roster? How do you feel about Jeff Hardy not signing back on with WWE in his contract? Who do you think Rey Mysterio should have his retirement match with? What do you guys think about the SmackDown show? Do you think that they could have had a better match lineup? Did you like the show? How do you rate the show? A thumbs up, a thumbs down? Let us know what your thoughts are. If you're catching us on YouTube, please comment below. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what your thoughts are. What do you guys think about these news and rumors? Everything else that's happening, please. We want to hear from you guys. We are signing off. I am your host, Saheem the Dream.
And your boy J McMahon in the building.
It's been your boy Shard, Mr. EBE, signing in one time. Appreciate you guys for allowing me to join the show, guys.
Absolutely. We thank you, Shad, for stopping by with us and chopping it up on Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. We are your host, and we will see you next week with another episode of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. Jay, take us away.